Hi everybody, welcome to Blarney Castle and Gardens. Bit of a better day today than the last couple. We've had torrential rain and flooding, but what came up also went down pretty fast, and you'll see when Paul that's filming is going to feed in an edit that shows what this area was like less than 48 hours ago. I'd have been standing in the river because the river was lapping at the bridge, and by the evening it was actually coming over. An immensely powerful force of water moving through, and we were worried obviously about the damage that would be done, but nature's pretty resilient, and there wasn't actually, short of removing a bit of debris, much of a clean-up to do. So it's now sunny and feels like spring again, so delighted to see all the flowers emerging. And as Paul pans around, you'll see over this side these little dwarf narcissus and crocus 48 hours ago were standing in probably about a foot of water rushing over them, and look at them now. I mean, they've just recovered, popped back up, and the sun's shining, and like, to imagine when you see it on the film that these would have survived that powerful force of water flowing over them is just, it's amazing. So yeah, nature is pretty resilient. I want to pop and show you a couple of other newly emerging bulbs, and then I'm going to talk to you about pruning, because it's the time of year now where we're getting going with quite a lot of our sort of early spring pruning. So I'll talk you through some of the things that we're doing as well. So I'll see you in a minute. So I'm now in our Seven Sisters garden, and you can see the standing stones behind me, but this is primarily grass and perennial mixed borders. And this time of year we start to cut back and tidy. We've already done an initial cleanup in the autumn, and but we leave a lot of the grasses and the structural plants standing over the winter, and you can see they're still looking good. But now, as the fresh growth comes, it's time to start cutting back. So the weather always dictates this a little bit, but a lot of the seasonal pruning is going to be happening in the next few weeks. So the likes of the taller miscanthus species and the different grasses will all be brought down, and any of the herbaceous plants that are left will also be cut down to the ground level and let to come again, and there'll be a fresh flush of growth very quickly, and within a few weeks everything will be starting to take shape. We're also pruning buddleias this time of year. The rose pruning is nearly finished. Hydrangeas, they say, wait till the risk of frost is past, so it's always hard to call, but from next week we'll be deadheading and tidying all of the hydrangeas throughout the gardens. So it goes very quickly that suddenly everything comes into growth, the seasonal pruning is all required, and all the weeds start. So always a busy time of year, but it's a hugely exciting time of year, because really this is when all the life begins anew, you know. And I do find it that once the sun comes up and the night temperatures start to increase, everything pretty much knows, and we see a sudden change, and it's always nice to see. So I'm going to finish with a couple of shots of some of the bulbs that are coming through, just to show you some of the progress. And I think next week we might possibly pop back to the farm, because we've had a lot of new arrivals there as well. So I'll see you in a sec. I had to stop and show you the crocus here because they're absolutely beautiful, and over the last few years we've been planting in the thousands. I think we've had about 30 to 40,000 bulbs to go in each year, and we try to put in things that will naturalise and progress as the years go on, as it's a better investment. And the crocuses are doing particularly well, and all through the gardens now things are emerging and starting to get going, and it's just wonderful to see. So hopefully some of you can get in, and again, as I always say, for those that can't, this is why we're doing the videos, and try and bring you at least little snapshots of what is going on a week by week basis. So that said, we'll see you next week, and I hope we will see some of you in the gardens in the meantime. Thanks a lot.